Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Padaya, Krishna Padaya, Shrimate Jaya Padaka Swami. So Hare Krishna. Today we are discussing from the verse number 14th from second canto, first chapter. I'll read out the translation again. Maharaj Parikshit, now your duration of life is limited to 7 more days. So during this time, you can perform all those rituals which are needed for the best purpose of your next life. So, in today's verse, here we can see how one can prepare himself for his next life. So, and that is what Srila Prabhupada has given. So, he stated the example of Katwanga Maharaj, and he has told what should one do in this lifetime so that they can prepare for the next lifetime. So today's verse is very important as it is focusing on how one can prepare oneself for their next lifetime. So here we will see what is the background that is happening in today's verse is that we know that Maharaj Parikshit was cursed by Shringi to be bitten by Takshaka in 7 days and he will die. So here we can first see as to how Maharaj Parikshit he took the right call. So it was a very difficult situation for Maharaj Parikshit, and it was very important for Maharaj Parikshit to take the right call, and Maharaj Parikshit took the right call. So he knew that he had only 7 more days in his entire lifespan was reduced to 7 more days, and he had to take a call as to what he would be doing in this 7 more days. And what we know what Maharaj Parikshit did. What did he do? He approached Shukadev Goswami and he asked Shukadev Goswami what is the best thing to do. So here, when he asked Shukadev Goswami what was the best thing to do, Shukadev Goswami told that you have 7 days, which is enough for you to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So if we take our own examples, right? So if we see if we were in the position of Maharaj Parikshit, what would we have done? So I came across a case wherein there was census taken place, and so as I was telling, there was a census taken place, and people were asked so what would they do if so actually firstly what was asked to them was if a diamond would be given to them, would they take the diamond? So all of them told yes. And then they asked, so if they were told that they have the diamond on one hand and they have their life on the other, so what would they choose? So most of the people said that they would choose their lives over the diamond. So, when somebody was asked, why are you choosing the diamond over your life? I mean, why are you choosing your life over the diamond? Because the diamond holds more value than one's own life. It's such a valuable thing. It can sum up to such a huge amount. So, somebody told that, the life is more important, and yeah, the life is more valuable than the diamond, because somebody can purchase another diamond but not one's own life, right? And when they were told that, so you're choosing your life, so if you were told that in your life you had, you'll just die tomorrow, so the only time you have is today, and that you'll be dying tomorrow, what would you do? So many of them replied, I'll go to the place that I always wanted to see, or I'll spend the time with the people whom I love, and all of that. And there were very few people who told that I'll go to the Lord and I'll pray. So you can see, so what do we learn from this? So what's the takeaway is that they all know that life is important, because when they were asked, would you like to trade your life for a diamond, or would you choose a diamond over your life, they told no. So why is that? Because they know, they cannot, the life is more valuable and nothing can be traded with life. And on this other hand, when they were asked what would you do, they were always attached to this materialistic thing. Life is such an unvaluable thing, but they're getting attached. The same person who said their life is important, but they're not seeing what is the best purpose of their life, what is the best thing, how best they can utilize their lives. But here we can see Maharaj Parikshit, he is making the best utilization of his life. And how is it? He is sitting and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is the best way to prepare oneself for the next lifetime. So it is not that we are not aware about the fact that how important and how valuable human life is. We are aware about the fact that the human life is invaluable. I mean, that how, human life is such a valuable thing, but we are not aware about what should we do with the human life. And this verse is, focusing on what one has to do when one gets a human life, right? So here we can see how Shukadev Goswami is citing the example of Katvanga Maharaj. So who is this Katvanga Maharaj? So this Katwanga Maharaj, he actually fought with the demigods, right? He fought with the demigods in the higher planetary system. I'm sorry, he fought with the demons. He was helping the demigods in the higher planetary system to fight with the demons. So when he fought with the demons, and the demigods were impressed by the fight, because he helped the demigods to win over the demons. And when this happened, Katvanga Maharaj, he asked, the demigods were pleased by the service that Katvanga Maharaj had rendered, and Katvanga Maharaj was asked for a boon. So then Katvanga Maharaj, what did he do? He told, so tell me, how long will I live? What is the rest of the lifespan that I have? So the demigods tell him he has only 24 minutes. So in that 24 minutes, he tells that, okay, then take me back to the Bhuloka. So take me back to the material world, because he is on the higher planetary system. So it takes 12 minutes for Katvanga Maharaj to return from the higher planetary system to the material world, and he has only 24 minutes, that is half muhurtam. And in that half muhurtam he's already lost 12 minutes, and he has only 12 more minutes in his life, in the rest of the lifespan. And he uses that 12 minutes to surrender to the Supreme Lord. And in that 12 minutes he surrenders to the Supreme Lord, and he goes back home, back to Godhead. So here, that is why Sukadev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj that Katwanga Maharaj went back home, back to Godhead. He prepared for his next lifetime in just 12 minutes, but you have 7 more days, and that is more than enough for you to take the shelter of the Supreme Lord. So here we can see as to what Parikshit Maharaj is doing. He's taking the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So here I was hearing to a lecture from Keshav Swami Maharaj, and he was, mentioning, he's a disciple of Kadamba Kanand Swami Maharaj, and he was mentioning once when he was having a talk with his Guru Maharaj, he was mentioning that his Guru Maharaj was telling that when Kadamba Kanand Swami Maharaj was very young, he always liked this game of musical chair. So Maharaj was telling he loved that game very much, and that is, and he also learned lessons from that particular game that he was playing. So he was telling that he learned 2 lessons from the game that he played, from the musical chair that he was playing. So, what is the first lesson? Is that when you know how the musical chair works, there are the chairs placed and the music goes on, and as soon as and there are players running around the musical chair, and once the musical chair, once the music stops, a person is supposed to find himself a seat. So once if somebody is not finding a place for himself to sit, a seat, then that person is out of the game. So Maharaj was telling that what he learned was, each time the music is played on, everybody finds a different seat. So if one particular person has sat on a particular seat, and the music goes to play again, so the next time when they go around the chairs, the next seat that they find is different from the first one. So each time the music is played, a person finds a different seat. And that is the first thing, every time a different seat has been given. And the second thing that Maharaj told is that sometimes you don't find a seat and you're rejected. That means you're forced to push yourself out of the game, you are being rejected, you are you lose the game and you're sent out of the game. So Maharaj was relating it to the human life, as to how one person has to accept a different body. So how the different seats were accepted by the players in the musical chair, similarly they have to accept a different body, and sometimes you're rejected out of the game. And this is what has happened to Maharaj Parikshit. So Maharaj Parikshit, he's got such a situation that he has to leave his body in 7 days, and he's decided to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So here Srimad Bhagavatam is such we all know it's Amala Puran. It has no mala. It is highest of the highest scriptures. It's called Grantha Raj. So how in mountains we have Giri Raj. That means Giri Raj is Govardhan is the Raja. That is the king of all the mountains. Similarly, Guru Maharaj tells Srimad Bhagavatam is like the ripened fruit. It's like the mango, like the king of all these scriptures, because everything is been consolidated in Srimad Bhagavatam. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is so very important. For next couple of, we discussed as to how human life was important, and next we'll see how Maharaj Parikshit took, we all know Maharaj Parikshit took the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, but we'll try to see how, what is the significance of Srimad Bhagavatam, and how do we take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So when I was hearing the lecture, uh, very striking points Maharaj has given, and I'll try to share the same with all of you. So Maharaj was telling, when somebody goes to Srimad Bhagavatam class, first we are supposed to respect the speaker. And when we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj was mentioning, it is not it we should never focus on the speaker, rather we are supposed to focus on the message the speaker is delivering. So, Maharaj was telling, once when Keshav Swami Maharaj was in his ashram, and he was asked to attend Srimad Bhagavatam class. Maharaj told, who is the person who is giving Srimad Bhagavatam? So his senior, your mentor, he scolded Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Swami Maharaj, and he told, you are do you Srimad Bhagavatam is like deity, like deity worship, how you worship the deities. So will you ever ask who is who has dressed the deities in the altar, which pujari has dressed the deities in the altar? Will you ever ask who which color dress the deities are wearing? No. Whoever has dressed the deities, whichever pujari has dressed the deities are always beautiful. So it is not the dress that is making, it is not the person who is dressed is making the deities look more beautiful. It is not the particular dress that the deities are wearing, or a particular jewelry the deities are wearing. No, it is the deities themselves are beautiful, and the rest, the jewelry or the clothing that the deities are wearing, it becomes beautiful because the deities are wearing it. So similarly is the Srimad Bhagavatam is like deity worship. One has to never ask who is the speaker, but rather they have to focus on the message that the speaker has to give, because Srimad Bhagavatam is about the Supreme Lord. So anybody who is speaking about the Supreme Lord, it becomes sweet, because Supreme Lord is Madhuram. The Lord is so Madhuram. Anybody who speaks about the Supreme Lord, they get purified, and even the listener. So the first thing is Srimad Bhagavatam is like deity worship, right? And next thing is that Maharaj was telling as to how once Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he met an army general. His name was Kundan Lal, right? And what he had done, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur himself, he was always emphasizing on hearing to Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was you preaching to this army general as to how important hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gave an example to the army, to the army general, as to how when one has to conquer a land, right? So if suppose there is a terrorism attack, and they have conquered a particular land, and a war has to be waged against them, what do? First, they get into the helicopter, And then the helicopter, once the helicopter reaches the place where this particular they want to conquer the land where the terrorists are there. What do? The armies, they, slowly land the helicopter, and all the soldiers come out of the helicopter and they take their positions so that they can conquer the land, right? So similarly, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was telling, similarly, what we have to do? We have to carry the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. And where should we make it land? We have to make it land in our hearts, so that it can, take the right position in the heart and change our consciousness. So we have to make the message of Srimad Bhagavatam land in our hearts, so that we can purify our consciousness. So that is such a striking message by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that he always emphasized on hearing to Srimad Bhagavatam. So we all know this very famous pastime, right? When Srila Prabhupada had gone to hear from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and all the god brothers of Bhakti Siddhanta Srila Prabhupada were going, and when the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was actually giving Srimad Bhagavatam class, and once the altar opened, everybody rushed towards the altar to see the deities. So what does Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur tell? He tells, did you finish your eye exercise? So just looking at the Lord without hearing the glories of the Lord is just like an eye exercise. That is what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was, trying to emphasize on. But we can see Srila Prabhupada was sitting in the Bhagavatam class, and he was hearing to what his guru was telling. So we know how just by hearing to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada established the entire, society for international society for Krishna consciousness. So how did it happen? It happened because Srila Prabhupada heard Srimad Bhagavatam from his guru. So there are several instances where, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's all disciples gave so much of importance to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur himself has emphasized so much on hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So I was hearing to one pastime wherein the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples, they had heard Srimad Bhagavatam so well that when the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to give classes, it was as good as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur itself giving it. So there was a pastime where one of the persons had come to meet. He was a non-devotee. He had come to meet Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, but due to some or the other reason, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was not there, and his disciple was giving the class. And just by hearing the disciple's class for 7 days continuously, this person who had come to meet Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he had a change of heart, and he became a full-time devotee in the temple. So what we are trying to learn is that how important hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the Guru is so important, that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciple just heard from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and they were so empowered that they could speak out Srimad Bhagavatam just like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is so very important, and that too from the right source. And finally, I'll just tell why we have to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, and why it is so important, and why is Srimad Bhagavatam called Grantharaj. So Srila Jiva Goswami, he tells why Srimad Bhagavatam is Grantaraj, that is, he is the emperor of all the scriptures, is because firstly, Srimad Bhagavatam is being written by the greatest author, that is Vyasadeva. And second thing is the urgency of the hearer, that is Parikshit Maharaj. He's so keen, and he's eager to know the glories of the Lord, and that is the second reason that makes Srimad Bhagavatam amala. And third thing is the speaker himself, that is Shukadev Goswami. The I'm sorry, the questions that were asked by the rishis, the sages of Naimik Sharanya. So that is what makes Srimad Bhagavatam. So you can see what was the question that was asked is, what is the best thing for the mankind for all the times to come. So you can see Srimad Bhagavatam, the questions the sages are asking, it is not for their own welfare. So suppose, as an individual we will think about our own welfare, but Srimad Bhagavatam is giving, the sages are asking such questions which is benefiting the entire world. And the answer that even Suta Goswami gives to the sages of Naimisharanya, they are also in such a way that it is going to benefit the entire world. So that is the reason Srimad Bhagavatam becomes very, the emperor of all the scriptures, because of the author, because of the listener, and because of the questions that are being asked in the Srimad Bhagavatam by the sages. And here we what do we know is that Parikshit Maharaj has only 7 more days left. So how is it possible that a person can get purified in 7 days? This is a common question we can have. So Maharaj was telling, from whom I was hearing the lecture, he was telling, so how is it possible that one can prepare himself for the next life in just 7 days? So Maharaj was telling it is the prayerful mood, because Maharaj Parikshit is hearing in a very prayerful mood, and Shukadev Goswami is also narrating the pastimes of the Lord in a very prayerful mood. So Maharaj was telling, when Shukadev Goswami started narrating, Shukadev Goswami had a very prayerful mood that the right words should come at the right time, in so that he can but Shukadev Goswami can speak aligning to the parampara. So because both the hearer and the speaker were in prayerful mood, it was possible for Srimad Bhagavatam to have that effect on Maharaj Parikshit, wherein he could go back home back head in just 7 days. So these were some of the points from today's words that I had heard. So I thank all of you for your patient hearing. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Patita Pavna Guru Maharaj ki jai.